So for the first time in old gays, new gays history, we have people calling in.
My ex-wife and I came out to each other on the same night.
Oh my gosh.
I've never been in a relationship ever. I'm a 27-year-old. What are your tips or advice for me?
You may not feel it, but you are still quite young.
My dad, I overheard him talking with my mom, saying that I'm going with a bunch of girls and he hopes I'm not a fag.
Oh, that's so sad to hear.
That is traumatic.
I can't get my 26-year-old boyfriend to get off his phone. I'm 59. I don't want to argue about it. Should I cut my losses and move on?
Well, talk about old gays, new gays. Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ant.
And we're the new gays.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And we're the old gays.
And this is Old Gays, New Gays.
This is a podcast where we compare life through the lenses of two generations of LGBT couples.
Today's episode.
We have a big announcement.
But we'll have to wait for the announcement at the end of the episode. So sorry to keep you hanging, but do stick to the end because it's a very important episode update and announcement. So for the first time in Old Gays, New Gays history, we have people calling in to ask us questions and advice.
Yeah, I think it's great that these callers have called in and left comments and questions. So thank you everybody for doing that. It's actually great.
Yeah,
great,
guys,
great
thanks
stuff. So
for
we're quite excited about answering some of them. But yeah.
All right, well, let's hear you guys talk for once, and let's get the episode started. All right.
Caller number one.
So I've got a story to share with you guys. So I only came out 2 years ago. I'm 26 years old. I was married and all of that. Living a very comfortable, happy life. And in December, a couple of years ago, my ex-wife and I came out to each other on the same night. It was quite interesting. It's a very unique story. Most people are just blown away by it. But basically, my ex-wife came out as a lesbian and I came out initially as bi on the same night. And we're still the best of friends now. And so many people tell me like how bizarre it is that, you know, people could still be friends after a situation like that.
Oh my gosh.
That is cute.
I think that's great, actually.
What are the chances as well?
Sweet.
I think
how
cute.
lucky are they? Gosh.
I know as well. Like, it's mutual. Clearly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think what a support they're going to have for each other, you know, not only as they come out, but through life now, just because they shared that incredible experience.
That doesn't happen often,
Ever.
but it's a testament that you fell in love with an amazing person and vice versa. And the fact you get to experience that together now, go through life, no one's going to have a bond like you guys have. And that's so rare.
And I think it's, he mentioned that as well. I think it's great that they're going to be, they're good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so fantastic,
I just
isn't
have
it?
1,000 more
Gosh.
questions.
We should have it on the podcast.
I want to know how
Special
exactly
guest.
happened. Like, did he say
I
it
don't know,
first?
where did he find that lesbian?
Where did you find the lesbian? Well, that wasn't Grindr, that's for sure. No, honestly, we're just really happy for them. I mean, great story.
Yeah.
We have more questions for you, but
Like,
that's
I have
amazing.
questions about your sex life. Like, was
No.
it
Go on.
awkward?
All right, next
No,
audio.
that's
Well, I was genuinely
boundaries.
intrigued about like whether they were both not into it, and that's when they were like, "Oh, there's a problem here in my relationship." With
Yeah, I think the conversation on the sofa that they had would have been fascinating to watch.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, they
And
should
the
have filmed
time-
it.
Why did they decide to come out at the same time, which is interesting? Or maybe it was
Maybe
the case
one
that
of
one
them-
did and the other said,
Oh, well,
you
now that
know,
you're saying this,
I
I've
am
got something to
too,
tell you as
yeah.
well.
Well, we're never going to know, but congratulations.
funny. Yeah,
absolutely
congratulations.
For being honest about yourselves to each other.
and it's
wow.
great that you have the friendship, which I think is
Yeah.
absolutely lovely.
That is really cute.
and if you are listening to this right now, thanks for sharing that. But if you want to create like an anonymous YouTube account and comment down the full story, like I think everyone watching wants to know a little bit more.
Thank you for that.
Let's get the next caller to call in.
Hi, old gays, new gays. This is your fan from the Philippines. I just wanted to congratulate you for a very successful podcast. I've been watching your videos since the first episode. So my question goes like this. I've never been in a relationship ever since. So I'm a 27-year-old gay guy from the Philippines. So I just wanted to know, what are your tips or advice for me or for those single people who wish to be in a relationship already?
Well, thank you for saying all those sweet things at the very start. That was very cute. It's also cool that people are listening to us in the Philippines.
Yeah,
God,
absolutely fantastic.
that's amazing.
Shout out to our Filipino gays. We love you.
Yeah. So I'm going to start by saying, you mentioned that you're 27. I think just have in your mind, you are never too old to start dating to get into a relationship. I mean, my uncles themselves didn't start dating till you were what, 30?
Well, we dated each other in our 30s, but I did come out late.
Right,
And I didn't
so-
start seeing men until I was probably about 23, 24.
Well, there we have it. So you're never too old to start dating. So that's
Yeah.
number one, because you did mention your age. Number two, for advice, I think I would tell you, I think we did a podcast on this actually, but just to like reiterate, you should go on local Facebook groups and try to find like local gays in your community. Maybe go out if there's like any gay events in your area. But I think the easiest is just to go on a dating app.
But I agree with your point. I think he is still quite young. I think in the grand
Yes.
scheme of things. Like if I look at my first partner before Dan, I was like 25, 26. It does, and it's actually you may not feel it, but you are still quite young. The other point I think is there's so much networks that you can be part of in terms of meeting people, like you said, the apps, Grindr, and all that sort of stuff. But there's a lot of LGBT events that they do that people can network and all sort of stuff, which you meet people and all that. Going out to bars, if that's what he likes to do, then that's something that he could do. And I think he needs to follow his heart as well in terms of, and he'll know when the right time is for him. He'll just feel it and it'll happen. But he is sort of still quite young in the
Yeah,
grand
you're
scheme
young.
of things.
Have fun. Go on dates.
Yeah.
Meet different guys.
Yeah.
Don't
Go
worry
ahead.
about the relationship stuff yet. Just go
Yes.
have fun.
Yeah.
But you sound really lovely. I'm sure you're going to find
Yes,
somebody who just
yes,
trusts
you
your
will.
heart.
All right, next caller.
So a quick story time is that one time I was gonna go to the movies with my friends, but my dad, I overheard him talking with my mom saying that I'm going with a bunch of girls and he hopes I am not a fag and I don't turn out to be one because or else I'm gonna waste my handsomeness and my prettiness on getting my ass ate. That was a very traumatic story.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so sad to hear.
That is traumatic.
Wig flew, jaw dropped.
I'm someone like I think similar to you this caller that like deals with trauma by laughing at it, which is good in a way. I think that's horrible. Listen, I think even before I came out, my dad would openly say gay jokes, or if we were sat at restaurants when I wasn't out, he would say, "Oh, do you think those guys are fruity?" to my mom, blah blah. Like, so I've experienced, not to that extent, but similarly. I think at the end of the day, if your parents really love you, they're gonna end up, I think once you come out to them, because it seems like you're maybe not out yet. Once you come out to your parents, they're gonna learn to accept you and not use that kind of language around you or say those jokes around you.
Yeah.
They might.
They might.
Some
but-
parents don't. However, I think you're right. I do think. Look, I'm sorry you had to sit through that and listen to somebody that you care that much about say things like that. My father was very macho, and he said things about gay people that were with his mates that were very negative, and I heard those as a child, and it's painful to hear your parents say those things, and it scares you into the closet further. So my advice to you is I'm not saying come out to your parents until you're ready to, but don't let it push you into the closet. Don't let that be the thing that stops you from living your true identity. Even if it's not a safe place to come out with your parents, there are safe places to come out with, and there are communities that will accept you and love you. And many gay men, when they first come out, have what they call their second family, which is the gay people around them that became their family until they could come out to their family, or in times they got rejected by their family. So there is a community out there that will embrace you and love you, and don't let that be the reason why you don't live your true identity.
To add to what everybody said, I think for me what's important as well is you get the support from people that you're close to kind of help you through that and think about what you should be doing. The other thing is, an option is maybe to talk to your mother if she's a little bit more understanding of that stuff, potentially.
Yep.
That's something that can help. And I think some of the words that Dan said was important. Sometimes we can't change parents. We just can't change it. And what's important with that is that you have to start working on yourself and your self-esteem to move forward with that.
If it's not a safe place for him to come out right now due to maybe homophobic comments from his father, that might make it seem like he's homophobic. But I think when you do come out, there's a chance that he might just be like supportive, but you never know until you come out. So you can't really risk that, and especially if you're young. So it might be worth waiting until you're old enough to have a job.
Just in case.
Just in case that you can fund your lifestyle if you want to move out then as well.
We've all, I think most of us have had to deal with our dads saying,
but men being men, like it's not acceptable, but it's a shame that is just the case. I came out to my auntie first because I knew that she knew my mum and dad a lot more than me. And that was my safe person to come out with, to reassure me that it's going to be okay to come out to my parents. And my dad was macho as well. I've had the similar comments, never that extreme, but just like little hints maybe that, but it was completely fine at the end of the day. So hopefully our experiences there help you a lot. And that's some value to you. Should we get the next caller in?
Yes, next caller in.
Hi, boys. Love the podcast.
Oh.
I can't get my 26-year-old boyfriend to get off his phone. I'm 59.
Okay.
I don't want to argue about it or nag, and I try to get him outdoors, but he has zero interest and doesn't like to travel. Also, he isn't affectionate. Should I cut my losses and move on? I love him, but I need affection in my life.
Well, talk about old gays, new gays. So speaking from the young gay perspective, we love our screen time. We love to be on our phones. But I think in any relationship, it's got to be, 50-50, and you've got to both put in the work. If you feel like it's only you putting the work in, I don't think you should break up, but I think you should at least have that conversation. Like sit him down and just go, hey, listen, I feel like it is literally all me putting the effort in and I'm not getting anything from you. Let's talk about this. Like, do you have, is there something going on with you? Like, do you have feelings for somebody else? Do you not, just talk about it though. That'd be my advice.
But the other person might be getting everything he needs from the relationship and not realize. So I think open communication is key.
I think that definitely needs to be open conversation in terms of the way it makes him feel, so that his younger partner could sort of understand that. I think for me that's really, really important. I think for me there's two things. I think there needs to come a point where it's either there's a resolution, so he's happy, they're both happy and all that sort of stuff. And if there's not a resolution, then I think he needs to make a decision whether he can accept that and live his life, and he'll have to compromise, and because he loves him a lot, because he did say I love him, so he needs to think about that. Or if that's out of balance, then he kind of needs to think about potentially thinking about how he moves forward with that. But he really needs to kind of think through that. So for me, communication and kind of trying to get to a resolution that both people are happy, I think is probably
You've summed that up so perfectly. That was
Thank you.
Just such, that was such a well-balanced response.
The old guys are a lot more knowledgeable than the youngs. Anywho,
we were like, we love our screen time.
We love our screen time.
The only thing that I would say is it's always difficult in a relationship to accept somebody's otherness, somebody's differences. And in the beginning, it can be quite romantic, but over time, it becomes some of the most annoying things that you find about your relationships when somebody's different than you. And you have to learn to accept that people aren't going to be the same as you in every situation that you're in. I would say that's a large age gap, which means there's a cultural gap there as well, usually. And that's something that needs to be discussed on top of just discussing what you need. I think you should have open conversations about that the world that person is living in and the world that you're living in, and talk and build bridges, right? And that's the important thing, is how can you build a bridge between not only these needs you have from this person, but how do you continue to build a bridge between the cultural gap that exists between you?
Let's
next caller.
The next caller, okay?
Okay, so basically, I used to play club soccer, right? This happened last year. It was tryouts. I'm with like a bunch of other girls. After tryouts, we're all talking about people we liked, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll show you a picture of her. And then a bunch of them were like, wait, you're gay? And I didn't make it a big deal, so I was like, yeah, and because I didn't really want to talk about it. Basically, the coach overheard, and long story short, he had been treating me like shit for the next couple days at tryouts. And that's like one night after, he called my mom and he said I was no longer welcome back because I was a distraction. But in reality, we all knew why I wasn't welcome back.
Okay, so for those that don't understand Gen Zs, she's been kicked out of her soccer team because her coach openly heard her say she was a lesbian, but he used it in a way where she was a distraction, apparently.
To kick her off the team.
Yeah. Horrible situation. I don't know if that's like just through your school or if that's through like the city or the council or what it is, but I would definitely have your mom message whoever is organizing this soccer team and just tell them what happened because we don't need a football coach, or sorry, I'm in the UK now. So I said, we don't need a soccer coach being homophobic, that's for sure, or being uncomfortable with a girl liking girls. That's a shitty. I mean, but you know, it does happen a lot in sports. So.
Sport has this culture of homophobia, which I know, like the FA and whatnot, they're putting so many like anti-homophobic things. A lot of people wear the wristbands now to combat this. Racism's another big thing in sport that's just terrible, and it's built on this horrible toxic culture that we have to get rid of. We have to get out of sport.
When I heard the tape, actually, and we spoke about it before I heard the tape, I was really sad to hear that. I mean, I was really, really sad to hear that, especially from a coach. I'm thinking, you have a responsibility as a teacher, as a coach, to help kids progress, make sure that they're confident in life and all sort of stuff. And it was really upsetting to hear.
They're meant to be role models.
Exactly. I say, you're a lesbian, bloody hell, you be proud of that. And I think that's a really, really good thing.
Yes.
I think I would look into, what you can do to address that at the school. I would reach out to the LGBT community to see what processes there are around kind of making sure that the school is aware of that, because what you don't want is for that same coach to repeat the same thing over and over to other kids, because that is really damaging to kids. It's not their role to do that. It's not their role. And so I would think about speaking to people, see what the process is to get this resolved, connect with the LGBT community to get help on that, and make sure that this problem is addressed at school. But really sorry to hear that that's happened to you. It's really disappointing.
Yeah, and you hear it a lot happen with men. I think that's what we usually hear with men and gay men coming out, but you very rarely hear it with women. But clearly, it's happening, and it's just as big a problem. So like
but
Frank said, it's a male coach. Get that man fired.
Yeah. I think
Jesus.
I think he should lose his job.
Formal complaint.
If you don't want to complain, we'll complain. We'll all write a separate email to the council.
To him.
To him separately. Yeah.
No, I think he should lose his job, and now that's not my place to say that. But he is a role model for those kids that he's coaching, and he sets the tone for the culture in that school, in that sporting environment. And whether the school give him a second chance and say, look, this is not on, this is against our policies, and then he sets it straight, then good on him. But I'm not sure if I would give him that second chance. I would get rid of him.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I'd add to that is I hope you have the support of your parents. I don't know if it sounds like you're pretty comfortably out at your age if you tell your friends that. And I'm assuming that you have good support from your parents, and maybe they can help you take up the cause as well. I think you're not alone, I would hope, and I hope there are people that will help you champion addressing this. But if you can and it's safe, please do address it, because this needs to be confronted.
Yeah. I'll fly there myself.
That's right.
I'm gonna.
That's right.
I'm not. I don't like fights, but this guy.
That's right.
And then we'll send him the bill for the flight.
For my flights, first class.
All right. So we got 2 callers left. Okay.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Hi, I'm after some advice. So I've been with my boyfriend now for about 2.5 years. All going well, just been exclusively just us two. And then recently he started to suggest and make comments that maybe we should introduce a third or open things up in a relationship. I don't feel super comfortable about it, but also I don't want to lose him. So yeah, I just want to know your opinion and what you think I should do.
Again.
He doesn't want to be open, but his partner does. And it's been a long-term relationship. Okay, so I'm going to put myself in his shoes, and I'm going to pretend that Ant said this comment, because Ant and I have been together for 7 years now.
I would never say that comment.
And I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, right? What would I say? What would I would sit you down, and I would say, why are you feeling this way? what aren't you getting from our relationship just being us two? And once I get those answers, I would figure something out. But if you both love each other, there should be no reason for you guys to break up over this. I think there should be a mutual way to figure this out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I would ask why? Why after 2 years that he wants to bring a third person in? Because that's quite a big change in a relationship. It's not something minor. It's quite a big change. He's not comfortable with it, so I think he needs to understand from his partner why he wants to do that. I know for me, I don't judge relationship, whatever people want to do, and they're comfortable with it. That's fine. It wouldn't be for me because I'm way too jealous, so it just would not happen. And I think the why, when they have that conversation, hopefully he can get a better understanding and get a resolution to this. And then there's a decision to be made, whether they can get to a middle point where they're both happy, or whether one says, I definitely want to do this, I definitely don't. Depending on the outcome of that, then he needs to think long term what makes him happy. But I generally think that if you're not comfortable with that kind of stuff and you're forced into that, that is just not a good place to be. It's just not a good place.
I would ask, can I see a picture of this person?
Well, yeah, first of all, who do you want to bring in?
That was a joke.
But what if he's hot?
That was a joke.
Dan, are you thinking about bringing him to your relationship?
No, Frank doesn't want it.
Obviously not. The mafia will be after me.
The door's over there. Was that your advice?
In relationships, one couple might be more experienced than the other couple, and therefore wants to seek to be with more guys, but he's just stumbled into this relationship and he's found himself head over the heels for this guy. The other guy that's saying no, he might be super experienced and not need that third person to come in. He's super content, whereas on this side, he's feeling like there's something missing. But there could be that scenario or a million other reasons of why they want to bring in that third. And if it's not right for both of them, then it just can't happen. But it's something, again, you need to communicate openly with. Okay.
The second audio, that one.
So our final caller of today's episode.
I remember seeing you and Aunt in the past, and I remember thinking how hard it has to be having a long-distance relationship, especially from America to Europe. But at the same time, I thought it was going to be interesting, but I was a little afraid, and I thought it would never happen to me. And right now, I've got a long-distance relationship from Spain to London.
Oh.
And seeing you in the back, because he likes, my boyfriend loves you too.
Oh, who's the boyfriend?
Seeing you and your back videos, and now that you live together and everything, make us realize it's not that hard when there's a love between each other.
Oh, very
really sweet.
cute.
Oh, that's
I
amazing.
listen. All the hot men are in London. I did tell this on my uncles were long distance as well, which is so it's all four of us. But I'm glad that we can inspire gays to want to explore a long distance relationship, and I hope it works out with you and your London boyfriend. I think it will, because it's not a far distance. I mean, we had a way further distance, but yeah, hopefully it works out. We're so happy for you, and just thank you for those lovely messages. Like
yeah,
lovely
definitely.
words,
Thanks for that. And,
Yeah.
and look, they are a lot of work, but work at it. As long as you love each other, it's absolutely fine. And,
Yeah.
and we talk about this in a further episode, that, plan your visits, speak to yourselves regularly, and make sure that you have a support network, good friends and family that support you at home. And London, Spain is not that far. It's like
yeah,
a
the
2-hour
flights
flight,
aren't
so
too
it's very
expensive.
manageable.
More
So keep at
holidays.
it. Exactly.
Honestly,
I'm sure
when-
the London one doesn't mind going to Spain a couple
Exactly.
times.
Guy, can we swap relationships? I want to go to Spain.
Should we get a third in Spain?
Just had the conversation. No.
Wow, what a way to finish today's episode.
Oh, did Dan have it? Sorry.
Sorry.
No.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so sorry.
I thought you guys said it.
Oh, perfect.
But now, after all that fun, it's time to bring Old Gays, New Gays, this episode, and season 1 to an end.
Wow, guys. I know. So a lot of people probably didn't expect this, but yeah, we're done with season 1. And when we come back in September, so we don't have an exact date yet, but we will be back in about a month's time, so September time, in a different space potentially. But we're all very excited. Maybe some special guests are going to come season 2. So a lot of exciting things are coming for season 2. This is not the end. This is simply see you later. So yeah.
And absolutely loved all the support and all the comments. We've read them all. We didn't have a chance to respond to everybody, but thanks for all the support. And it's been great doing this podcast together. I certainly learned. I feel a little bit younger gay than I was before I started.
I think you lost all your wrinkles.
That's
since
right.
There you go.
Ant and I also couldn't have asked for better hosts. I think we got on so well regardless, so we could not have asked for any. I wouldn't want any older gay on this on this podcast. So thank you guys for also joining us throughout this journey.
I don't think we could have another couple or an older generational couple on this podcast and have the conversation be so fluid. Yeah. And if I'm going to be open and try not to get emotional that season 1's ending, my biggest fear with having this podcast was it would change our relationship with you guys. We would see each other too frequently. We would be over talking to each other. And in fact, after this podcast, we're just going to continue to go for lunch and just continue doing the wine nights, which is how this podcast started. It was those wine nights and lunches we would have together and the natural conversations. And we just brought this to the world.
Thanks for sharing that. That was really sweet. Thank you.
I think the last comment I'd leave you guys with before Nick and Anthony close us out is, if you're young, go have a conversation with an old gay. If you're old, go have a conversation with a young gay. Keep it clean.
Yeah, well, no, but
That's right.
Such a fair point, guys. I think what this podcast has taught us is respect your older gays. They've been through a lot. They fought a lot for us to be where we are today. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned a lot. But you will be learning more in season 2, of course. And if you guys loved this series as a whole, please rate it a 5 stars. So this is what means the world to us, and it's what makes us, be able to get a season 2. So if y'all want that season 2, like we do, rate it a 5 stars, leave your replies, and follow on everything. But yeah, guys, we'll see you guys in a month or so. All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.